There were 9 head coaches in college football headed into their 10th through 12th year at their respective programs this season, so let's go through and hand out grades to each of them based on their entire tenure, starting with Pat Narduzzi, who gets a B+. There have been some high highs. There was the ACC title. He's built them into a very consistent, reliable program. However, there has been a ceiling that they have kind of had, and a few critical decisions he hasn't quite made that have prevented them from ascending much higher as a program. James Franklin at Penn State gets an A-. You look at his resume as a whole, it's pretty impressive. There's a Big Ten title in there. He won a Rose and a Fiesta Bowl, made a national semifinal as well. The biggest knock on him was always that he couldn't quite get to the level and caliber of a national championship team, but that's very rarefied air. He still did great things for this program. Jason Candle gets an A- for his time at Toledo. He built them into one of the most consistent group of 5 teams we've seen, a constant MAC title contender. However, they just broke through so little, only 2 MAC titles during his time there, when there were many more years where they were expected to win it. So there were a couple of seasons where they didn't quite meet the expectations. However, he was the guy who created the expectations. Chris Creighton at Eastern Michigan gets an A. To understand this grade, you have to understand the history of Eastern Michigan football. When he took over in 2014, their last bowl appearance was 1987, and in his time there, they've made 6 bowl games, including one where they got a berth to the MAC title. This guy is this football program, and he is all-time best head coach. Kalani Sitake at BYU gets an A for a number of reasons. He's elevated the program since he took over. It's been a model of consistency, and he successfully navigated a transition from the independents to the Big 12, winning 23 games combined through the last 2 seasons. Jeff Monken gets an A+. He's done spectacular things with the Black Knights, including winning an American Conference title and finishing ranked twice. It's been pretty spectacular. Chuck Martin at Miami of Ohio gets an A+. He has turned them into the gold standard of the MAC. They've made each of the last 3 conference title games, and they've won 2 overall under him. Matt Campbell at Iowa State gets an A+. I think most people understand the impact he's had on this program, how much he's elevated him. He's easily the best coach in Cyclones football history. And finally, Kirby Smart at Georgia gets an A+, a grade which is extremely difficult to earn at Georgia given their program history, all of the resources that they have, and yet he's turned them into a well-oiled machine. A lot of people perceiving them as the next Alabama because of the things that Kirby has done.